Hello, YouTube. I think we are here. Hello, welcome. My name is Miss J, and I'm North Dakota's Trash Queen of Glam, Geek, and Gore. And we are here for another lunch break live. I did have somebody ask me, they were just like, girl, your lunch break is weird. And I know. So if I have meetings and things, that can affect my schedule. But my job, I do video, audio editing, and if I don't have specific meetings or specific things that I have to be at a certain place for, I can kind of set my own hours within certain limits. And I generally work, I'm in Central Time. And so I work, I call it a Seattle 8 to 5, because a lot of people that I work with are in Seattle. And their 8 to 5 is my 10 to 7. I'm not a morning person. So I usually come in around 10 and I'm here till about 7. And so when I come in at 10, I'm usually hungry about 11:30, but it doesn't make sense to take like a long lunch break at like 11:30. And so I usually will, like, if I have food or if I order food. Hello, Mama Champagne. Been on a grocery run. Hello, Just Gel 87. Hello. Is that Grace? Is there another channel? Or are you a different Gel 87? Hello, welcome either way. But yeah, so I tend to, like, I either bring food and I eat it really quickly and I'll maybe put on a YouTube video, or I'll just keep looking through. Good, Grace, welcome. I'm glad it's you. I'll like put on a YouTube video or I'll keep working or whatever. So then later in the day, I'm like, you should take an actual break. And so I was like, so that's a good time because I'm not hungry right now. Oh, this is your commentary channel. Very exciting. I'll have to make sure that I subscribe, because I think I'm only subscribed to your regular Gel Beat 87 and the fashion. So, yes, so if you don't follow Grace, you certainly should. She does lots of great stuff. She's always hustling, has a commentary channel. Very excited to check that out. But yeah, so here we are. So I got the Melt. Welcome to Derry Collection. I was very excited about this. I'm excited to finally have some horror themed. There's been a couple of Halloween releases, but Glamlight has been edging us with that Saw collection for like a month now, and has finally shown like swatches of 3 shades, like the finger swatches of 3 shades. So I hope that's the only collection they do, because if they try to like then rapid fire a whole bunch of horror stuff before Halloween, I can't take it. But I'm excited. We talked in a previous live about the Conjuring collection. I'm very excited to play around with this. And so there is that Conjuring. But here we have this. Now, before we get into this, oh yes, I hate when they drag it out so much. Thank you, Grace. I try to keep busy, but you are always hustling. You've always got content coming out, and it's all fantastic. So I love it. Also, I did put a post on my community tab, but I just wanted to kind of talk about the fact. Can we talk about this absolute bucket of vanilla sugar that came today? So Dion from Dion Loves Makeup was doing a giveaway, a Penzies giveaway, and Michelle and I won, and Michelle won a box of goodies, and I won a gift certificate. So I went to the Penzies, and I have a lot of Penzies, and I've been wanting to try their vanilla sugar, and so I won a $50 gift card. This was more than half of the gift card, but this was their like 13.6 ounce vanilla sugar, because I was like, I want to try this, and then it showed up, and I was like, this is enormous. Hello, Joe. How's it going? So very excited for this. Yeah, it's got a light vanilla scent to it. So I am very excited. I need to do some baking. Hey CJ, how's it going? Yeah, I'm very excited. If you want to see the other stuff that I ordered, you can check out my post tab and you can see what I got. But I just had to talk about this because I was so amused by how big this jar of vanilla sugar was that showed up today. But yeah, so let's go ahead and let's talk about. I ordered the whole collection. The whole collection was only $99. I know, only. But I was like, it's a nice little collection. I feel like for $99 you get good stuff. They basically, everything I think was available individually. I don't know about the bags. I don't know if the bags were available individually, but all of the like makeup products were available individually. And I feel like you get a good amount of stuff. You get 2 makeup bags and you get 4 makeup products. Melt is kind of an expensive brand, so I feel like 99 for this is pretty fair. And I do love a cute horror themed makeup bag. And this bag, I just love this big, oversized zipper. How ridiculous. It is a little tough to work, but I do like the look of it. And they said that it kind of looks like teeth, and so that was kind of Pennywise the clown. So yeah, it is, especially in the curves. It wants to stick a little bit, and so that yeah, I don't love that part of it, but I do think that this bag is super cute. And then, and so they had all the pieces individually, or you could get one of the two kits. And so this one I think is the eye kit. I think this one has the palette and the cream liner. And then this one is the lip kit that came with the liner and the lipstick. Yes, everybody say hello to Mama Champagne. She's joining us today live. She got all of her YouTube issues worked out, so now she can join us in chat, which is very exciting. Yeah, so hello everybody. Hello. Okay, good, good, good. So now so I put all of the things into this little bag. This is the second bag. This was also on this zipper clip. They had one of these little balloon things, this little clip. You could detach it and put it elsewhere. I just put it here for now because it doesn't fit on this part of it. It only fits on this upper part, which is weird. So I'm going to take it and put it somewhere else, but for now I've put it here. Yeah, so let's go ahead and look at the 4 pieces. I am very excited for this. So there's a little palette, there's a liner, there is a cream liner and a lipstick. So let's look at the lip kit. I do generally really like Melt's lip products. I think that's one. Oops, I'm getting a little notification. Let me turn that off so I can see the chat. Yes, so let's see here. So the first thing we have is this this is one of their gel liners. This is the shade Clown, and this is just like a stark white. In your waterline, I have trouble getting color to stick in my waterline, so I should try this because what I often use for the waterline is I'll buy, like, whenever these half matte, or no, this is About Face or Half Magic? About Face. When these About Face or the Urban Decay, these chunky pencils go on clearance, not on clearance, but the what's it called? Ulta does it. Nana's having a flash. The 21 Days of Beauty. Whenever they do the 21 Days of Beauty, it seems like either About Face or Urban Decay or both will put these little pencils on 50% off clearance. And I use that for my waterline. I just about drew on my glasses. So that was great. Um, just about put it right up there. We're having a day. We're having a day. So that's what I use on my waterline, but I should try those because these are really good. And I'm excited. I'm hoping I can get this done before Halloween because one of the things that I mentioned when I was talking about my Halloween content is that I want to do kind of a creepy clown doll look. And I've got the Pat McGrath, that the mask that's supposed to make it look like porcelain, like she used for the Maison Margiela fashion show. She released that mask and I bought it and I haven't used it yet. So what I want to do is like a look, like a clown doll, creepy clown kind of doll. And I was like, what could be really fun? Let me know what you think about this as a potential look. Just as a look in general, maybe I'll do it separately or as a look for that clown doll video. But what I was thinking is to do something very different. Is I thought this as like a base, so this color base, and do like a cut crease shape in the white, and then take this palette. So let me show you the palette. This is the little 6-pan palette. Very cute packaging. We've got Pennywise with the kind of circus tent motif. Very cute. And then we have those 6 colors. And what I was thinking about doing is, like I said, doing sort of a cut crease kind of shape in the white, just do stark white all over the lid, the whole thing. And then with like a fluffy brush, I would take the yellow, this shimmery orange, and then this red, and just kind of like buff like a very diffuse sort of color, like yellow to orange to red along the shape. So it's all white, has a little bit of color at the top, and then do a really thick, thick with like 4 C's, like black, winged liner and just do like, so have a black line across the lid and then just a crazy and then big lashes. Is that fun? Is that something? Is that is that a thing? Would that work? I mean, there's no way to know until I try it. And maybe I'll try it and I'll be like, okay, this is cute, but maybe not for the clown doll look. And so yeah, so I think I'll try that because it's something new and it's something different to do like the full white and then just do the color kind of tapped out on the edges. I think that could be really fun. And I think this could be a fun palette. I think this would be a perfect opportunity to do that. So I think I'm going to try that. And then we may use the mask with that one, or we may use the mask with a more traditional like clown Pennywise, maybe do the lines up. And I could still do the lines up with that look. I just would then go above the like poofed out color. So it may all happen. We're gonna see. So Joe passed on the mask. I was like, I'm gonna do it for a video. I'm such an idiot. I was like, we'll do it for a video. It'll be fun to try it out. I wouldn't have bought it if it was just buying it for myself, but because it is kind of one of those weird sort of things. So I'm excited to try it out and see if it does look like porcelain. I'm also very excited for this lip set. It does have, I don't know, yeah, you can kind of see it has all the welcome to Derry and the Pennywise on the pencil, which I think is really cool. I would have loved for this to be more of a red pencil. This looks, let's go ahead and put a little, oh, okay. Oh, well, let me just shut my big old face. So there is the pencil. That is red. There's something about the pencil when I look at it, it looks really brown to me. I don't know if maybe it looks more red on camera, but like it looks really brown. But then I swatched it and that's red. That's what I wanted. I was like, I wish it had been more of like a red pencil. Oh yeah, I guess I don't know. I now that I'm under my filming lights, it looks more red to me. I think when I was sitting over at my desk, it just looked a little bit more brown because this lipstick. Melt lipsticks are always so pretty. Look at how pretty that is. It's like a metallic red, and that beautiful etching is always so gorgeous. Did it look brown on camera too? Okay, good. It wasn't just me. I thought maybe I'm making up things in my brain. Um, that's pretty. That is like a metallic blood red. Oh, I'm gonna be so this is definitely gonna be the lip combo for the video where we try out. We'll just do a whole melt situation. Yeah, their lips and the smell, there's something a little bit it's weird and it's gonna sound like I'm dragging them, and I promise you I'm not. But it smells like vanilla Play-Doh. Like there's something about it that reminds me of Play-Doh, but not in a bad way. It just is something that I just love the smell of these lipsticks. I think they're so good. And yeah, that etching on and I'm always going the wrong direction. There we go. All of that engraving is so cool. So yeah, I think that's gonna be the creepy clown doll video because I think we'll have between the liner and this, I'll have everything I need for like the eye look. And then as I was doing my declutter, I think I got rid of a lot of melt blushes, but I might have a melt blush or highlighter or two still in the collection. And so then I could, and maybe it'll just be a melt look. And then we'll do this for the lip, and then we'll do the like Pennywise, the things that come up the side of the face. Cause I do think that's cool. How he has those like the little lines that come up. Obviously, that's reversed for the bag. But yeah, so that's all. That's nothing, not a really big exciting day. Yeah, there's gonna be more declutter as I was talking about yesterday that like I have this huge pile of palettes because I've been pulling stuff off of this shelf. I have this shelf over here that it's supposed to be more of like a decorative shelf, and I think hello Golden Glow, how's it going? I think it's meant to be um I think it's meant to be, like, more for decorative stuff, and it's not because it's definitely, like, warped over the years. Because it's kind of, like, at different the shelves are at different heights and different stuff, and it's kind of, like, leaning in or whatever, and I need to organize that so bad so I can get all of my makeup so I've just been pulling stuff out, and I have these big piles of palettes. I have fun stuff over here, like let's see if I can get this out because it's holding up some palettes. But I had gotten this in a horror mystery box, this little Pennywise I Heart Dairy bookend, and then you can, it's got a little thing that comes out so you can, I've got it like holding up palettes, so the palettes are next to it there, and it can squeeze up to there. But you can take this out and you can put it to the back. So if you want to have it facing this way, you can have the little thing that way, or you can go this way. So I thought that was really cool. This was from one of the Culture Fly. Those unboxings I do have on my channel, the Culture Fly horror boxes. They only did 3 of them and then stopped. Which was not great, but the stuff in it was good, but it just was like they were definitely struggle busting it, and they only did it for 3 boxes, but I'm very glad that I have that. And if you saw my recent unboxing of the Story, whatever it is, if you saw that unboxing of those, I got a little Pennywise acrylic, like little stand-up character that I can put on the shelf once I get everything put back together. But there's so much over here that's just like taunting me, and then this I have to laugh. So this is, and I promise this is not me like tooting my own horn or whatever, but I always tell people that I'm like, if you're a drag queen and you live long enough and just like don't die, then people feel compelled to like give you plaques and shit. But like in 2023 for Bismarck Pride, I was one of the champions of Capital Pride. And so they gave me this beautiful little thing. So this is over on my shelf. And what I love about it is that presented to Janessa J. Champagne, Queen of Drag. And it's got little things on here. It's very sweet. I was very honored. But I do love that they spelled my name wrong. So instead of, they forgot the M in champagne. So it's actually champagne. And then I laughed because then when we went to the show, somebody had brought these mirrors. You know how you can buy those like $8, $5, whatever they are, mirrors at Walmart? The like back of the door, kind of full length mirrors. Somebody had brought them, and they brought one for each of the performers, and they put their names. They put our names on it. And so mine said Janessa J, and they had spelled it wrong. They forgot the M. So it said Janessa J. Champagne. And the person who was the head of the board of the organization that we work with pointed that out, and he's like, "Oh, that's kind of funny." And I was like, "Did you not realize?" I was like, "The award that you gave me earlier today has the same spelling mistake." And he was like, "What?" And I was like, "Yeah, everybody seems to think that my name is Champagne." And so he's like, "Oh my God, we're going to get you another one." I was like, "You absolutely are not." I was like, "First of all, that would be so wasteful for something that's just going to sit on my shelf. Like, I love it and appreciate it, but I'm not like taking it on tour or anything. Like, it's just, it's a little memento. It's the thought that counts. I'm not going to make you spend the money. I'm not going to waste the materials to like get another one." But it just made me laugh that he was like, "Oh, they spelled your name wrong." And I was like, actually. But that was the weekend where I was Janessa J. Champagne all weekend. So that's over here on the shelf. That just makes me giggle. There's all kinds of fun things like the glam light, the little, I just can't bring myself to take this out of the box. This little sponge is so cute from the strawberry shortcake. So I was like, that's really cute. That's just hanging out over here. Yeah, other kinds of fun things. There's other like makeup that is like usable makeup, but then there's also some of my like makeup memories. Oh, thank you, Joe. I appreciate you. Yeah, sometimes I toot my own horn, but this this was more to just like laugh about that. That memory. This is one that's just here for memories. This is, anybody remember this? This was from that Tarte collection. I think it was like their Be Mermazing or whatever. It was after they did that that unicorn collection. And like, it's, look at this beautiful packaging. It's this like 3D seashell with the stitching and that beautiful blue green iridescent. And then let's take a look inside. This is what they decided was a mermaid palette. Tarte, what are you doing with your life? It's like 50 shades of beige and then 3 little colorful shades, like a kind of green, a kind of blue, and a kind of purple. Like that's, they were like mermaid, right? And I'm like, well, I guess you've got a piece of a mermaid sitting on a beach, maybe. That's all sandy, beachy, neutral, beige, Becky bullshit colors. But this was their version of a mermaid. That's That's as mermaidy as Tarte was ever gonna get. So this I just kind of keep because I love this packaging. And also, what are these pan shapes? What 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 is that? What's happening? What is that? What is that? Those are insane. I think the weirdest thing, do I have a magnet? I think these pans are magnetized. They are. Why? Why? I mean, obviously these little fish, yeah, they look like little fish scales, but like that's not useful to anybody. And why? I guess you could rearrange this palette, like you could put your beige Becky bullshit in a different order, or you could put these into just like an open magnetic palette, but it's not like these are a standard shape that you could ever put anywhere else. It's so weird. It's so weird. It's so strange. And these would just annoy me if I put them into a magnetic palette because they wouldn't line up right, and my little, like, low-level OCD would just kick off, and it would just be bad, but I just think it's cute, and I like it. I love this packaging. I think it's really fun. I can imagine this at a photo shoot at some point, like, having some sort of if I had some sort of kind of mermaidy adjacent look, having this little compact, and this could be part of the little moment or whatever. So I keep it. I have a lot of makeup that's in my like makeup memories kind of thing. And I've talked about this many times. And oh, yeah, I moved it over here. I finally found, I don't know if I've shown this before, but this is the one that I found. I've talked about in a couple videos. And when I talked about it in the videos, I couldn't find it. This is the NARS palette that I keep. It's so boring. Maybe I did talk about this in like the last video because I feel like I just talked about this. The reason why I bought this is I got suckered into NARS, and I did like NARS blushes for a long time. But I bought this because it's got Miss Liberty, Deep Throat, Sex Fantasy, Final Cut, and Laguna. So they finally did like a holiday palette that didn't have the orgasm blush in it. And for a while they were putting orgasm in everything. So if you bought any NARS compacts, you had 50 million different like pans of orgasm. So when they didn't have it, and then I realized I didn't really love these colors that much, and like one of them I kind of cracked or whatever. But I hold on to this because in 2016, I have two bucket list roles. I occasionally dabble in like community theater. Obviously, I've been performing for a long time, but I've done a few like actual like theatrical productions, and my two bucket list roles are Joanne and Company, and I think I'm just gonna have to stage my own production and pay for it if I ever want to play Joanne because I don't know anybody that's gonna cast me as Joanne. But the other one, tailor made for me, of course, is Edna Turnblad in Hairspray. And so in 2016, the Empire Theater Company put on Hairspray. I was cast as Edna Turnblad. It was lovely. All of those little babies. The guy who played Wilbur, Hiram, my friend Hiram, we were the two oldest in the cast. Like everybody else, they were such young people, such lovely young people, still filled with hope. And then us two bitter old people, we're like, oh, here we go. And they were so lovely and so wonderful. They're still my little Facebook babies. I kind of follow them and see what they're up to and all that kind of stuff. But anyway, why this is in the makeup memories is that I didn't really even use this for the makeup, but what I would do is in our scenes, we have, of course, there's the hefty hideaway. And so we had a really fun, like, our set was little, like, they had a big stage and it was all these modular pieces that would sometimes turn and be something else. And so the hefty hideaway is one of the locations. And then when it was turned around, I think it was the background of the Corny Collins show. And so in between, there was a little bit of space. And so there's the scene with Welcome to the 60s where we go to meet Mr. What's his name from the Hefty Hideaway. And we would go in, and I had like 90 seconds to do this quick change because I'm in this like house dress and this ratty little wig. And then I go in, and that's when Edna gets her makeover. And I come out with this big, like, red. All of my wigs were like, we decided that Edna was like a redhead in this production. So it was like red streaked with gold. So I had this like red updo, and then this like beautiful, beautiful dress that they got from the touring company. They like rented costumes from the national tour that luckily fit. I was so worried about that. Because I'm so used to in community theaters, there's not a lot of budget, there's not a lot of stuff. Usually when I do a show, I often supply my own costuming, and a lot of times I'll just donate it to the theater afterwards, unless it's something that I think I might use afterwards. But a lot of times the rules are very different. But so I had this like, so there was like two people backstage who are basically like ripping this house dress off my head, throwing the wig on. There's a little shelf, and I'm putting on the new wig, and I'm putting on these little, I had these little gold, like 2-inch heels, and came back out. And in this 90 seconds, so it's a whole makeover. Well, I had kind of a basic, like very toned down makeup look. And then in from that song on, whenever I would go off stage, I would add a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more until we get to the finale where I'm in the full like Edna dressed up for the show or whatever. And but that first one, we didn't have time for anything, so I kept this little palette backstage, and I had a tube of I don't. I think this kick. I think the reason why I talked about this, because I think we talked about Jeffree Star in that other live video, and that this might have been what brought it up then too, is that at the time I was really into the Jeffree Star liquid lipstick formula, and he had a shade called Masochist, which was the beautiful, beautiful like deep berry. It was so pretty, and on stage it's so impactful. So really, all I had time to do to like show this makeover was we switched out wigs, we switched out the dresses. I put on little short heels, and I would use this little mirror to make sure that my wig was straight, and to put on that, because I had just like a nude pink kind of lipstick for Edna for her like pre-makeout, pre-makeover. And so then I would use this mirror to put my lipstick on. And that might have even been how this got cracked, is that we were always moving so fast, and I might have like slammed it down too hard on the thing as I'm going, because then 90 seconds later I had to come out and be like fully made over, and finish Welcome to the 60s with my little Tracy. And then there was a little point where then she kind of ran off stage, and she comes out because we had matching dresses when they rented the costumes. It was like two dresses that matched for the two of us, and then we'd finish the number. So so this is one of my makeup memories products, this NARS. I really do like this. I think this is fun, but I don't wear these blushes very now. This is so many years old, and I've got so many other blushes that I like better, but I have to keep this because this was my like getting ready during the Hairspray show. Yes, that production was so much fun. I had so much fun with that, and except for, so they they rented those Welcome to the 60s dresses so that Tracy and I would have matching dresses, because that's kind of the thing, is that they go and they have like basically matching dresses. But I did make a lot of my costumes for that show, and I was pretty proud of what I made. I did have a friend who kind of works with theater stuff made these two kind of um, boring boring house dresses kind of things, where it's just like cottons, very like, supposed to be very 60s, very plain, have big pockets. I can do the laundry because I'm the laundress or whatever. And then we go and do the change. And then I had this beautiful dress. If anybody remembers, I think they're maybe coming back a little bit, but pinupgirlclothing.com. I shopped from pinupgirlclothing.com for years, because when I first discovered them, it was started by somebody who was a former stripper, exotic dancer. And so she would make, basically, she had these different styles, and you could order them in different kinds of lycra and stretch velvet and spandex. And each one came with a matching thong because it was aimed at dancers, because it was always like dancers, it's hard to find costumes. And they had a thing where you could customize it for like $10, or I think it was $5, where you could have it like a short, like a little cocktail dress. They would make it in little booty length, and they would be like, for $5, if you want just like a real cocktail dress, we'll make it 3 inches longer. And so I had messaged them, and I was like, well, okay, I'm a big old plus size drag queen. Like, how liberal is your we'll make it to your measurements kind of thing? And they're like, well, maybe $10, because we might have to make it 6 inches longer or something like that. But other than that, we'll cut to your size and all this kind of stuff. So I ordered dresses from them for years. And then I just had like this pile in my drag room of the little like, because they still sent me the matching thongs, but they were like not the right size, and they were terrible. Like, they would have been perfect for somebody who was dancing or whatever, not made for me. And so, but it made me laugh that I always got these matching thongs. And so I ordered from Pinup Girl. Well, Pinup Girl then at some point transitioned into more like boutique fashion, which was really beautiful. And I had some of their pieces. I kind of topped out at where the end of, they usually stopped at like a 4X, and their 4X at the time was right around my size. Some things fit, some things didn't. And I had ordered this dress that was a 50s like housewife, where it was a very fitted kind of V-neck top, and I think it might have even had little lapels, and then it had the big poof out skirt, and I wore like a petticoat underneath, and it was white with red roses. And so that was from my personal costume collection. And that was the scene where we go to when Tracy's at the record shop on the north side, and we go, and that's when Velma Von Tussle comes in and catches Amber, and she and I almost get into a fist fight, and that was a lot of fun. And then I made this like 60s, I had this weird like paisley print fabric, and so I had a little bit of like a matching like purple. And so I just made like a little bodice. And then I made huge puffed sleeves in this paisley print, and then a big skirt. And that was kind of my like nightgown dress. And that's where Wilbur and I did You're Timeless to Me, which was I loved it. I really think that, again, not to toot my own horn, but I feel like for two people who are not like professional singers, Hiram, I think, has more voice experience and things like that. But I don't really have voice. I had what I learned in school, and I got a couple quick lessons from the music director for the show because I really wanted to make sure that we hit it well. But for two people who didn't like have any professional voice training, I think that and I think actually I put a little clip of it into one of my videos, and now I'm trying to remember what video it is, because that's the only video that has like a copyright, not a strike, but a copyright claim on it that I haven't been able to get rid of because I included a little bit of footage from the production. God, what was that? I'll have to maybe put that on my post tab if I can figure out which one that is. But I put a little clip of us doing Your Timeless to Me. I just felt like that was such a fun moment of the show. And I love it because we live in North Dakota and people are not always nice. And I've always said that like I'm uncomfortably non-binary, but it was clear that like there was a queer person in a wig on stage, and people loved it and people were lovely about it. But they also had to watch like two dudes kissing, and I was like, yeah, because that's part of this show is like the love story between these two. And so like it looks like a straight couple. That's the gag, right? As we all know that Edna is generally played by a drag queen. But then you have this love story, and I love this sort of subversiveness of that. That's what I love about John Waters, and I love that they kept it through as they did, the musical version and the movie musical and all that kind of stuff, is that you kind of have to like you have to cheer for a queer couple. Because in the story, like in the lore, they are a straight couple. It's a man and a woman. It's her parents. But we know what's going on, right? That was part of my whole master's thesis, was about like what the audience knows to be true versus what the story says is true, and that's where a lot of this subversive like queer content comes from. And so that was really lovely to get to play that part of Edna Turnblad. So now I'm just waiting for my chance to play Joanne. If you don't know Joanne from Company, probably one more story, and then I should probably get back to work. My lunch break is getting close to over, but Joanne and Company, if you know Joanne, she's the one who does Ladies Who Lunch, like, here's to the ladies who lunch. And she's in Company, she's kind of this rich socialite, and I think she's on husband number 5. And the whole movie is about love and relationships and marriage, and are you going to get married? Are you going to stay married? All this kind of stuff. And that's the whole thing. So this story kills me. It's so funny in such a dark way. But so I got divorced it's been quite a few years now. It's a long time ago. But when I got divorced, I was a little bit of a wreck for a little while. I was very close to becoming a functioning alcoholic. We were maybe having a little sippy sip more often than we should throughout the day on work days. I don't work at that job anymore, so it doesn't matter. But I had like a good like 2-3 month period where I was like making poor choices. And I one time was just like in this awful mental headspace. And I just was like, I need to find something fluffy to watch on Netflix. So I went on Netflix and they had the remake of Company, which is now my favorite musical. I had never seen it before, but I thought that I had because in my brain, what I did is I confused Company, which is all about marriage and relationships and like love and divorce and all of these sorts of things. I confused that in my head with how to succeed in business without really trying. Which I had seen at some point. And so I remembered, I was like, oh, that movie about the company, because they worked at a company, how to succeed in business without really trying. And so in my weird headspace, I was like, "Oh, it's that funny musical. It's like a madcap farce." I was like, "This will be perfect." So instead so I put on Company. So by the time they get like the second song or something is called "Marry Me a Little." Or no, it's like always it's the one about like it's oh god, now I can't think of the lyrics. "Marry Me a Little" is a little bit later, and I definitely ugly cried. But like the second song in the musical, Robert, who's kind of the center. So Robert is kind of the center of the story, and he's this like perennial bachelor, and it's from the 60s. So like everybody's worried that he's not getting married. Why aren't you getting married? You need to find yourself a girl and settle down, blah, 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 all this kind of stuff. And so and it's his birthday. And so they're like celebrating his birthday. And he visits his two friends who are this long time married couple. Um, and he asked his friend, who's this husband, who he asked him like, "What is it like to be married? Like, what is this that everybody?" And he's like, um, "What is it like? You're always sorry, you're always grateful." It's this thing about how um married life is hard but it's beautiful and all that, and it's such a beautiful song, and it's such a wonderful after they've had this like they're all like smoking weed together, and then his wife goes to bed and they kind of play bicker, like married couples do, where it's not like a serious fight but they bicker or whatever. And then he asks him, and then he sings a song about "You're always sorry, you're always grateful." um and it's just so and I'm ugly crying on the couch, like full on ugly cry, and I just keep watching, and then towards the end of the show, then there's this song that Robert sings called "Marry Me a Little," where he's like he sees all the appeal of these relationships and he wants to be in a relationship, but he's not really a commitment person, and so he's like, "Marry me a little, don't expect too much and it'll be beautiful," like all this kind of stuff, bawling or whatever. But the song "Ladies Who Lunch," and I knew that "Ladies Who Lunch" was from Company, but somehow in that moment I couldn't but it was absolutely what I needed, so it ended up being the perfect show. But when I when I think about it, like from a distance, where I'm like, "Oh, so you're like mentally unstable, going through a little mentee B, full on crashing out, and you thought it was a good idea after a divorce to watch Company." Really? But that version of Ladies Who Lunch, it's been done by Elaine Stritch, it's been done by Patty LuPone, all these kinds of things. Barbara Walsh is in that revival, and she is the blueprint. She is my Joanne forever, Barbara Walsh. Because so Joanne is on like husband number five. I don't know why I put up 10 fingers to really emphasize, but she's on husband number five, and this guy just loves her. And she's kind of difficult, and she's kind of she's a little bit spiky or whatever, and he just loves her, and they're out dancing, and she's kind of like looking and judging all of these like society women. So there's all these women who are out, and they're the ones she calls the ladies who lunch or whatever. And so she has this great little monologue that happens before she sings a song that I just love. And it's basically she's like, "We have come to the point where we are too old for the young people and too young for the old ones. We are the generation gap. Let's raise a toast to the generation gap." So she's got this thing about how she's kind of in the middle, and then she sings this song. And the way Barbara Walsh does it is so good, because the thing is like on the surface she's mocking these society women because she thinks that she's like figured it all out and she's cooler than them. So it's like, "Here's to the ladies who lunch." Everybody laugh and all this kind of stuff. And so she's making fun of them, but she's also kind of laying out her journey to where she got. And so the last part that she does is her singing about herself. And so she's got this verse that's like, Um, Here's to the girls who just watch. Aren't they the best? When they get depressed, it's a bottle of scotch plus a little jest. And it's like this whole thing. And so she's like, another chance to disapprove, another brilliant zinger. And so that's the part that a lot of people have heard from it. And she's singing about herself. And Barbara Walsh is the only person that I have seen that really puts on the surface. This is the only time through the whole show, Joanne is cool and calm and unflappable. And when Barbara Walsh is singing this verse, this is where you see the facade crack, and you see that she's like deeply unhappy, and just like she has this man who loves her, and she's not sure why he loves her. Like she kind of feels a little bit unlovable, and it's just this like it's so vulnerable and what was great about that production, which is kind of odd, but I loved it, is that the whole cast, there might have been other musicians as well, but the whole cast was also the orchestra. So, like, if you weren't in a scene, they would be slightly off stage playing like a tuba or a trumpet or whatever. And Barbara Walsh, who played Joanne, the only thing they had her do is she played a triangle. So every once in a while she would walk on and be like, ding. Like, it was so funny. But it was so good because then one of the other characters is playing the piano. He's like the piano player at this bar where they're dancing. And so it ends with Joanne being like, everybody rise, 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 rise. Because she's saying like it's a toast. So rise. But she's kind of making fun of everybody. And now she's sort of like revealing her own vulnerability. And the guy, all of a sudden, as she's doing it, her voice gets more like tenuous, like, you can see that she's, like, getting ready to crack, and then all of a sudden, the guy playing the piano just, like, stops playing and flips down the little cover and walks off while she finishes, and then she, like, puts her hand down, she takes a deep breath, and she's like, "Larry, I would like a cigarette." And then it goes right back to cool, calm, collected Joanne. That I think it's 2005, the 2005 revival with Raul Esparza of Company. If you have not seen it, I know it was available. It was on Netflix for a while. I'm pretty sure it's available for streaming, if not free with a Prime membership. I think it's only like maybe $3 or $4. So brilliant. I absolutely love it, and watching the cast also play the instruments is so fun. It's such a fantastic production. But that is the blueprint for me of Joanne, is that, like, just having to be, like, cool and calm, but then you get that moment where you see her, like, almost break, and then she just goes right back to it. It's so good. It's so good. But yeah, so that's this sometimes the lives take weird little jaunts, so definitely check out, Company. If you are freshly divorced, I will warn you, it will make you ugly cry because there are some beautiful songs in there that are all about relationships and not necessarily what I would recommend to a fresh divorcee. But it turned out to be like exactly what I needed and absolutely is now my favorite musical. I've always loved Sondheim and I knew that song. And if you've seen the movie Camp with Anna Kendrick, that scene where they do ladies who lunch and she's like, listen, Rummy, she's fucked. I'm ready. And the goddamn show must go on. So let's get cracking, shall we? And she like goes out and oh, it's so funny. You have to see the movie Camp as well. That's also really good. But so I was aware of that song and I knew that in the show they were doing Company, but I just couldn't put it together. And it was the best mistake of my life because I absolutely that is my favorite musical. All of the songs are so good. The story is really interesting. They've done some interesting there was a revival not too long ago where they made Bobby into instead of being Robert, it was Roberta. They had a female lead because of all the pressures about women, like why don't you have a husband, oh, all this kind of stuff, and they added like a gay couple, like they changed thing around. If you've heard the comedy song, like I'm not getting married today, it's the one that's like. Thank you all for coming in, and it's really I can't even do it. It's so fast, but like it's so good. That's another famous song from there. Not getting married today. That's a really fun one. But yeah, so I'm gonna get back to work. I hope everybody's having a lovely time. Thank you all who joined. We had a few people stop by, Joe and Mama Champagne and CJ and Golden Glow. Golden Glow, I think your name is Ethel, right? Am I putting you together with the right person from Facebook? I don't know if you're still here. You might have stopped by, but I think that's who you are, unless I have it wrong. But yeah, Grace and did I miss anybody? I don't think so. CJ. I think that's everybody that we had. Thank you everybody for stopping by. I hope you had a good time. I hope you enjoyed this little lunch break live. Look for some stuff coming with the Melt Cosmetics collection. Lots of content still to come all throughout October. I'm running myself into the ground to do it, but I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. It's gonna happen. I'm so excited for Halloween. And I hope everybody's having a lovely, lovely Wednesday. I had to think about that for a moment. And yeah, let's do the outro. This is where I have to like set the brain and be like, okay, thank you, replay crew. You always rock. Make sure you leave a comment down below to tell me what you thought of this, what you thought of the Melt collection, what you thought of any of the conversation that we had. Let me know your thoughts down below. While you're down there, don't forget to that you can give me that thumbs up to tell me that you appreciated this video, this live, or if you just think I run my mouth and I talk too much, you can go ahead and give me that thumbs down. It is all engagement. The algorithm isn't a picky bitch, and neither am I. And while you're down there, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and hit the bell icon so you'll be notified of all future uploads. I try really hard to have at least one video a week, and now we've added in some lives, so there's more content coming to the channel. And sometimes, if you're lucky, if you're very lucky, you might even get a bonus video. Ooh, company-tastic. If you'd like to chat, banter, or commiserate between uploads, all of my social media will be linked down in the description box below, including a link to my website. Just pretend it's there. The World of Champagne at janessaj.com. Thank you so much. I love and appreciate all of you. This is always fun. I love it when people are here for chats. I know I'm kind of random. We are going to have a couple more that are scheduled so people can plan ahead, but I'm always grateful for all of you who stop by when I just randomly decide to have lunch break lives at 4 in the afternoon. I hope you're all doing well. I hope you're having a lovely day. And until I see you again, bye. Where's my cursor? Always the awkward point. Okay, bye.